This video is very kindly sponsored by DistroKid. I'll be talking about them more later in the video. Oh, it's really disgusting. I feel a bit stressed. Like I'm trying to understand where this is going, but I feel like this one might just be a step too far for me. Hello, welcome to this video. My name's Dan, aka Lucid. I'm a music producer and a songwriter. And today I'm going to be reacting to Arca's Kick 2. So let's go. Okay, so we're discovering more Arca today. My impression of Arca so far has been one of reverence. Really. Her ability to create this kind of crazy music production storylines is honestly so cool. So I discovered Arca through my first hyperpop video, and now we're going full on through the Arca journey. I've done Kick 1, now we're going on to Kick 2. I will do 3, 4 and 5 as they come. I'm excited to really discover the full journey. If you want to follow my journey reacting to all the Arca albums, then make sure to subscribe to the channel to see when they're coming up next. And if you want to check out next week's video now, you can do so on Patreon. The Weeping Windies get their videos a week early, and next week's video is
Kate Bush.
About
Kate Bush.
If you were able to, the Patreon is a great way to support me in terms of my living my life as a creative person. And if you also want to check out my music, you can too. Cool. Okay. So DistroKid are very kindly sponsoring me all month this month, and I thought in this video I'd take the opportunity to talk about a particular feature in which has been really handy for me, and that is the ability to upload your music for social media. So DistroKid distributes your music to all sorts of streaming services, and a couple of the options that you can choose to do is uploading your music to TikTok and Instagram. When you make an Instagram story, you'll be able to click on the music sticker. You'll be able to find your own piece of music to use in your story, and it will have the little Lucid, Criminal or whatever in the top, so people know what song is playing and they can find you. And then the same for TikTok, where you'll have a minute clip of your music will appear in the TikTok music libraries, so you can use it for your TikTok, and people can therefore click on that and then use it in their TikTok. It's a really big marketing tool, giving it a chance to be viral. Some of the biggest hits over the last few years have been because of TikTok, and so actually having this option is a really important thing for new musicians in order to get your music discovered and to get your music shareable and usable across TikTok and potentially make it go viral. So it's a really important feature that DistroKid include on their budget-friendly musician plan. If you want to sign up for DistroKid, then you can use my VIP link and you'll get 7% off your first year, and it helps me out too. So yeah, the link's also in the description as well if you want to sign up. Cool. Let's do this. I'm ready to get my mind blown once again. As I do with all my multinational artists, I always look up the lyrics in English as I go along. So, yeah. Yeah, make sure to comment if I misunderstand anything as well, or mispronounce anything. Cool. So this is song number 1. This is Donna. Or Doña. I love how close this is. It's right in your ear. Oh, that's so cool. Such a cool effect. Oh, it's really disgusting. Sounds like dismembering. Oh god. So wet. I think Arca really delights in creeping out her audience. It's halfway between a machine gun and flesh. A fleshy machine gun, if you will. Yeah, cool. Love that for me. Oh my god. Okay, from a sound design standpoint, that was fucking just so cool. Getting into the realms of almost movie-esque sound effects and using it in a rhythmic way and using it in a song, just completely fabulous, really, is it? It's I haven't heard anything like it. It really makes me squirm, but it's it's amazing. And it sounds so visceral. There's something so satisfying about hearing sound effects that are quite so you know. Let's have a look at the lyrics. Maybe it's Doña, I think, apparently. La Doña Arca gets covered in her bed, rubs her face with self-confidence. Masturbation, I'm assuming. Hello everybody, to whom this may be of interest, it is time to enter the end, hidden in a box by these others, that they would prioritize misrepresenting faith, misrepresenting and conflating. Lunch meat, yes. Okay, cool. It feels like Arca is kind of criticizing the societal view of women and kind of saying, rubbing her faith with self-confidence. There's like lots of kind of multi-layered meanings, maybe to do with like female masturbation, maybe to do with self-independence and confidence as a woman in society. I feel like that's kind of where it's all kind of going. You know, how faith, maybe the church and everything is misrepresenting how females, how women, how LGBT people are represented. There's kind of lots of layers that could be picked apart there. They're the kind of key themes that I'm picking up on, that I'm gonna guess are gonna travel through the album. Let's go on to song number 2. So this is Prada. So in my Hyperpop 2 reaction, I did Prada Rakata. So I have heard this one and the next one. But I don't think I actually dug into the lyrics, so let's do that today as well. But yeah, let's see if my opinions have updated or changed. I like the synth here, it's very 80s, isn't it? Sounds like it could be created with like a Moog or a Juno probably, I guess. I really, really want a Juno, but they're like £1,000, so it's not gonna happen. This one's definitely like more reggaeton than all the other Arca stuff I've heard, actually. I love this one. It's kind of like a swirling vibe. It's quite easy to get lost in this one. It's a real fascinating world of sound, isn't it, though? It kind of feels like it feels like it's a living world, you know? I don't tend to listen to them much like reggaeton, really. But what I can really take from that in terms of its production is this idea of like, it's so detailed, isn't it? You know, it feels like there's like a whole world inside the music that you could kind of lose yourself in. It's like this, like I'm picturing like almost like an alien planet. I don't know. It just feels like this music kind of would fit in some kind of like super sci-fi kind of alien existence. Do you know what I mean? Like it's really genius, really. Yeah. Okay, so I feel like it's a kind of a song about a kind of trans experience. I want to see you on the dance floor. Cross-dressers throw glitter in these bujaras faces. What's bujaras? Let me know what that is. Prada heels, what a weirdo, what a weirdo. It's like someone who is maybe assigned male is wearing their Prada heels to the club and people are around them being like, oh, what a weirdo, you know? She seems to be talking to somebody like who doesn't understand, saying, you know, this is what would happen if we had sex. Like, do you understand it? Like, would this actually help you understand who I am? We're all here for the same reason, looking for some spark, yeah. I love hearing music that kind of details in the LGBT experience that you wouldn't necessarily, I feel like you don't hear, particularly like the trans experience. It's enlightening to the listener to kind of really get kind of to be able to empathise with someone's story, which is what I live for, really. Let's go on to the next one. This is Rakata. Rakata. I just love the sound of that. Oh, shit. This one sounds like it kind of in like a kind of underground club in, you know, Madrid or something. All the kind of filtery stuff is what I think makes it feel like it's kind of underground, you know? It's like you're in like an illegal party or something. It's cool. Ha, ha. Oh, actually went ha at the same time as me. I like the fire. I don't remember that from before. Like we've gone down to hell and we're all burning. This hell is better with you. I'm just obsessed with that song at the moment. Yeah, that one really has that feeling. You know, it really kind of sounds like that feeling of being in like a club in the middle of the night and it kind of all feeling a little bit shady. I could see them like playing, like using that song in like Elite or something when they're in like a, you know, maybe if they're like in a kind of underground club scene or something, you know. Let's have a look at the lyrics. Girl, look at me, world, here I come. I could eat the world right now with this urge to fuck. Mm-hmm. And I throw your rakata. I don't know what that means. To check if you're watching me. Oh, I should probably Google like the meaning of the titles. I always forget to do that. Donya meaning. Oh, a Spanish woman of rank. Oh, okay, right. Prada is obviously the brand. And then Rakata, an anagram for atacar, which means to attack in Spanish. So it's quite a kind of aggressive thing, but it's quite onomatopoeia as well. Oh, so it's a kind of, yeah, so it's kind of like aggressively hitting on somebody. So it does kind of feel like she's in a club trying to hit on someone. It's a real kind of like confident, like, I'm gonna go into this word, into this world and like just put myself out there and be super like aggressively confident, you know. Let's go on to the next song. This is song number 4. This is Tierra. Oh, nice. This definitely album is much more reggaeton than... It seems to be following that theme, doesn't it, genre-wise? I like the pace of this one. It's quite kind of like intense. Oh, cool. Arca really has such an ear for like unique sound design. It seems like it's going somewhere. It's like the whole song is kind of moving towards the end, you know, with such intensity. It's like driving you there. Wow. Cool. I love how that just kind of all like broke down at the end. It was really kind of glitchy and really robotic and really, yeah, really cool. That one had such a kind of real intensity to it. And what I quite like about the production style of it is that like, it kind of doesn't matter how mad it gets. So far in the album, it feels like it's still rooted in this like reggaeton rhythm. So it kind of allows Arca to really just go completely bonkers with so many aspects of it because it has that center of it being a bit rooted, which I think is like a really clever way to kind of like give yourself the space to go mad. Because I think if you were to go completely mad on the timing and the music and the production and all of it, it would just be a mess, wouldn't it, you know? Yeah, so it's very cleverly made. Let's have a look at the lyrics. Where are the gringos and güeros? Isn't gringos like white people or something, right? To throw away the money. Maybe it's like rich people. Latino bombshell, Guajira machine, from Tucupita to Uruguay. Look, Ma Miranda. I don't know what any of these things mean. Suck that pepper like a low-hanging mango. Cool. Break that hip. My, what a delight, till the bones crash. I'm not really following this one. I mean, I'm getting a sense of this kind of, like a lot to do with money, a lot to do with sex, a lot to do with power, and assessing that. But I'm not sure. I think I'm missing too many of the kind of cultural references on this one to really understand what is going on. So yeah, let me know. Thanks. Let's go on to the next one. This is Luna Yena, maybe? That's how you pronounce that? Something to do with the moon, maybe? Oh, I like the kick. No. Like a lot of people said like the kick was to do with like being in the womb, like birth and stuff. So I guess every song is like, every album is like an exploration of Arca as a person, right? I love that vocal part. Ooh. That kind of synth that's kind of driving back and forwards is quite interesting too. I really like the kind of world that this is taking. It's got really taken me off, you know. Yeah, it feels like a world. Cool. These songs are much kind of smoother in form factor, aren't they? They kind of set a sound and like move it. It's like a wall of sound that like continues throughout and kind of slowly evolves, rather than the slightly more like aggressive back and forth of some of the other Arca stuff I've heard, you know? Ooh, I love that. That's cool. It feels like this album has like a different kind of methodology when it comes to writing. Like, it seems to be like, let's set up this particular soundscape, this particular collection of sounds that makes this wall of sound. Because every song goes straight in, you know, and then we'll play around in that world, like feeling it. and just like maneuvering within this soundscape. It's very kind of like lose yourself in it kind of music, and it's a different way of making music. Certainly it's great to listen to this kind of stuff because it is so different to the way I make music. So I think that like as creative people, even if it's not the kind of music you might listen to or repeat, it's still always brilliant to listen to this kind of music with an open ear to really kind of understand where they're coming from and to learn something, and I feel like I'm certainly learning something. It feels like I'm learning a completely different methodology in like how to write music. Let's have a look at the lyrics. I want to blow you up. Blowjob, presumably. I know you want it, don't try to deny it. Don't try to deny it. I'm not rejecting you. I followed that spark, but it was darkness. I want to translate, mutate for good, and be seen. From the moment I was born, I want to transform, mutate even more, be loved. From the moment I was born. But that sounds like kind of like a transition, right? You don't know what it took me to get to this day. So yeah, it feels like she's reflecting on her journey and her transition. Moon, full moon. See, I'm good at Spanish. Yeah, so maybe like Arca's likening her transition to kind of like likening it to the kind of werewolf transformation in a way, full moon. Like this is the moment at which I've managed to transform. I managed to become the complete version of myself, Yeah, which is an interesting comparison. I wouldn't necessarily personally be flattered by that comparison, if I'm honest. But maybe there's something in the transformation of it that inspired Arca, Interesting. Very, very cool. Let's have a look at the next one. Number 6. This is Lethargy, which I don't need to look up in English because it is English. Ooh. I've been feeling a bit lethargic this week. This is definitely a bit slower, isn't it? Let's roll, puppy. Let's go, mummy. I like the breathing samples. It's like really a good way to make a human feel like, My hair is everywhere today. It's that stretching sound. It's like, I don't have any idea how to make half of these sounds. It feels like she's like in your ear, I love the kind of scraping kick drum. It's cool. Ooh. Still going. It's so dry that it feels like it's like right in your ear. It's really cool. I don't know whether maybe she used like binaural recording or something, because it's like it has that sense of space to it. It's like so in your ear. It's like feels like it's right there, It's certainly a vibe. Yeah, like such fascinating production. It really makes me kind of want to figure out how you'd make those sounds, I'd love to hear like Arca speak about how she makes her music, because I feel like I'd be able to learn so much from the synthesis and from the the use of samples and stuff to that I feel like would inspire me a lot, But even listening to it and just trying to figure out in your head how do you do that is inspiring enough, Shall I have a look at the lyrics? Give it flow, give it. Okay, I have no idea. I don't know. It maybe it's just a vibe. Give it to me, burn it. Yeah, I don't know whether it's about sex. It might be about, I don't know, like it's strange, isn't it? Maybe it's just a feeling. I'm creating this soundscape and I'm just gonna vibe out to it and just ad lib and just that is the song, that is the feeling. It's all about existing within a feeling, Let's go on to the next one. This is song number 7. This is I'm gonna say it right this time. Araña, presumably. Let's go. Oh, hello. Nope, shit. This is not that nice to listen to. Oh, I feel a bit stressed. This is the most experimental song so far. There's like almost no music to it. It's just sound. There's no rhythm to it either. You know what I was saying earlier about it being tied down to rhythm? This doesn't have that. What? Oh, that certainly has a vibe. It sounds like a kind of like a toy or a wind-up box or something all going to or like a circus or I don't know, like it's, that vibe. Yeah. I feel like there's not going to be many lyrics to dissect on this one. Like, I'm trying to understand where this is going, but I feel like this one might just be a step too far for me. It's just so much audio information for my brain to try and compute in one go. It's like, Ooh, that's cool. This is so weird. I honestly have no idea what's going on. Oh, it's the next song, okay. Bloody f***ing hell. Jesus Christ. The crazy shit you guys make me listen to, honestly. I think that might be the weirdest shit I've ever heard. I had no idea what was going on. It was a real mesh of disparate sounds going through these kind of phases of, like, all I can kind of take from it is that it's demented. I hope I'm not offending anybody, but it's just so, like what I said earlier about, like, for me to be able to really listen to music and really appreciate it, there's got to be some frame of reference, like a rhythm I can attach myself onto, or like a musical frame of reference or something. And that one just went, fuck your frame of reference. You can just have this crazy ass mix of sounds. It's certainly fascinating and certainly like making me think, like, how the fuck do you do that? But like, I wouldn't be able to listen to that again. You know, it's one of these things where, like, I can completely appreciate the skill and the incredible brain that goes into creating something like that. Let's see if there are any lyrics to actually look up. So araña means spider. Got that vibe? Apparently there are some. Turn back, never felt the need to say what's on her mind. Turn back till it's too mind. Okay. Wow. I need a break. Okay, let's go on to the next song. This is Femme. Very distorted, very gloomy. Could soundtrack a movie. Sounds like the sounds they use for, like, floating cars and shit. This is a very strange vibe, especially after the last one. It's a little bit more, like, down-tempo and chilled, but it's still weird. Interesting. Another fascinating soundscape. That one definitely a lot more of a kind of slower vibe. Completely instrumental, obviously. Wonder how it relates to femme, obviously, I guess, like feminine. Definitely an exploration of femininity. Like, this whole album does seem to have that kind of side to it, doesn't it? But not in the way you'd expect at all. Okay, let's go on to the next one. This is Muñecas, maybe? That's how you say it? I don't know. You have to correct me if I'm saying any of these wrong. Oh, interesting. Bit of an 80s synth, which is quite cool. Blend that in. It's a bit warmer, a bit richer. It's kind of like something of like a lo-fi 80s vibe, the synth, certainly. Not so much the vocals. That rap is like totally at odds with the rest of it, isn't it? Ooh. Musically a little bit more like, optimistic and shit. Let's pack off the album, as certainly it's just gone completely off the rails in terms of experimentation. I do enjoy the kind of more musical aspect to this. Interesting. Oh. Yeah. Well, another fascinating soundscape. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to know, like, what to kind of take from it. Like, what's my kind of understanding of that song, you know? All my trans guys / dolls Girls/dolls. It blows incessantly, this gust. Maybe like winds of change, kind of, I don't know, like pressure. It's becoming unbearable. Like, yeah, it's like the wind is like, almost like, I don't know, maybe the pressure to conform, and like Arca's kind of feeling that pressure. Maybe like looking to the community to kind of maybe find a sense of like relatability, you know? I absolutely adore how she's using her own unique way to tell us how she's feeling, her story, you know? As mad as the songs might be, they do have an energy to them, you know? Like that one did have a bit more warmth and a kind of settled, more intimate feeling, maybe looking more inward, you know? And maybe that's the energy that she wanted to portray as this part of the kind of trans experience, you know? Let's go on to the next one. This is song number 10. This is Confianza. Oh, this is lifting up, isn't it? Musically. I do really like that synth. It's cool. Nice to have something a bit more musical. A little bit more. Almost sounds like gamified music. Like make music from a game, I mean. Beautiful piano though. And it's really nice to have this after the previous songs. There's a sense of like melancholy there, isn't there? Like almost a bit of foreboding. I really, really loved the musical elements of that one. It really kind of felt like it was solidifying it in a little bit more of an emotional place. Something a little bit more intimate. For like the beginning of the album had a lot of kind of like walls up, brash, kind of in your face kind of vibes. And this is definitely, it feels like she's broken down through these kind of crazy bits. And now this is kind of a little bit more what's on the inside, you know? Give it with confidence. Oh, confidence, okay. I'm not sorry, I only give it. Spank me. Spank me, but lightly. Yeah, I'm not sure what it means. I'd love to hear all of your theories and ideas on what it means. Yeah, I'd be very interested in that. Okay, let's go on to the penultimate song. Oh, this is featuring Sia. I do love Sia. If you've seen my, I did an acapella Sia cover for a few years ago. Posted it on my YouTube a few weeks ago if you want to check it out. But yeah, let's have a look. This is Born Yesterday. Maybe this is going to be a bit more poppy.
Surface tension breaks and we will drown here in it all.
Nice.
Oh, it's clear inside you're fighting in a mistakes are part of life.
Oh, nice. God, that like sound is really overwhelming it, isn't it? Almost sounds like the song is happening in the background. Definitely like is much more of a Sia song structure, melody and everything, but Arca's like kind of taken it and just been like the traditional production. I don't want it to be a pop song, you know? I'm gonna put this sound right in the middle and it's gonna completely overtake everything else. I don't know if it's at the detriment of the song at this point though, you know? Oh, cool. I wasn't born yesterday. I know what I'm doing. Don't call me baby. Yeah, it's like treat me with respect, isn't it? That's a really weird one. Like, I'm not sure how I feel, because like the song itself, I really like it. I like it has all the hallmarks of a Sia song, you know? Strong emotional lyrics, huge soaring chorus, like all those kinds of things, very Sia. But it almost feels like the production that Arca's kind of done with this song undermines the song itself. The experimentation is amazing, as you know, and in it from a sound design like standpoint. But at what point have you stopped serving the song itself? If you were going to do a song that was like going to be a pop song, then lean into the pop song of it. You know, you still do all the crazy experimental production, but don't have a sound that's like in the middle and completely distracts from the song itself. Do you know what I mean? Like that doesn't work for me because it doesn't know what it wants to be. I feel like the rest of the album knows what it wants to be. you know? And this song is kind of like, oh yeah, I want to be a pop song. I know, but then, no, I don't. I'm going to ruin it, you know? Do you know what I mean? It's a really weird one. Because if, you know, actually without those weird production moments, like that central thing, I would have really enjoyed that song. You know, it almost feels like a knee-jerk reaction away from it being a pop song. Before we go into the final song, if you haven't already, then make sure to subscribe to the channel for all of my Arca reactions so you can see my full journey with Arca. And also, if you fancy, you can check out the Patreon. The Weeping Wendy's get their videos a week early, and the Crying Club get their videos a couple of days, get 3 days early. So if you want to check out my videos early and you want to watch them uncut, then you can check out. Then if you go through to the Patreon, then you'll be able to see all of that stuff there. And yeah, and it's a really, really great direct support for me in my career. So thank you. Okay, let's go to the final song. This is Andro. Cool. Ooh. Oof. Ooh, I like that sound. Feels quite epic. There's something about the texture of that really is a bit creepy, you know. I wonder what, like, psychologically makes us like think, ooh, you know. Doing. That filter shaping is quite interesting. It kind of gives it almost like a comical effect, doesn't it? There's like a pitch bend element to it as well. This one definitely has an epic feeling to it. Feels like a kind of space opera kind of vibe, you know? I quite like the kind of epic feeling of this one, actually. Just feels like a real grandiose kind of moment. Cool. Yeah, totally bonkers. That one was real. There was a vibe. Yeah, a very different vibe. Again, I really appreciate the sound design of it, and I really like that it took us to a place that was a bit more like meditative, but at the same time very like big and grand. Yeah, I'm not sure what the statement of it's meant to be, but yeah, it's cool. Okay, so there we go, it's the end. Yeah, that was, yeah, it's really difficult to follow the thoughts of an artist who's quite so out there. What I do like about it is that the sound design is completely unlike anything I've ever heard. It's unique, it's engaging, it makes you like freak out, it makes you kind of intrigued as to what's going on. It, you know, really, it evokes a reaction in you. So I think, you know, she is incredibly successful in what she's doing in that sense. I just struggle because it is just so out there. Yeah, I think the earlier songs definitely had a little bit more tying them down, and I enjoyed them more. But when it gets so experimental, I think it just loses me a bit. And like for me, like the reason I listen to music is to feel like I'm following a story, like I'm kind of understanding what they're going through. And I feel like at points this album does that, but at points it just goes a little bit too far for me and goes too convoluted as to you know, help me to, you know, I feel like I'm not necessarily understanding what's going on, and I want to be. Overall, kind of my verdict is like very much that I am incredibly impressed, and that I think Arca is an absolutely incredible artist, and I'm excited to go through the rest of her music, even if it is going to completely shock me and bend my mind, because actually at the end of the day, as much as I might not like want to listen to this music on repeat or whatever, I am learning so much, and I feel like to really listen to something so left field it's very good at broadening your mind and opening your mind to different experiences, even if you do feel like you're getting completely lost along the way. And I'm intrigued as to where Kick 3, 4 and 5 are going to go from here. I hope you want to stick along and want to enjoy that journey with me. Before we sign off, a special thank you to my Weeping Wendy patrons. Their names are appearing on screen now. They're the ones who subscribe to the second tier of my Patreon. They get their videos a week ahead of everybody else, which is quite nice for them. And they get all their videos uncut too. So if you want to join in with those guys who are supporting me, you can do. The link is on the screen. The next video is,
Kate Bush.
if you want to watch that video now, you can do on the Patreon. Cool. Right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the end of the video. I will see you next week, or this week. I will see you again with another video. Keep going. Cool. Bye.